Hello, welcome to this series of videos that are part of the Transformative Power Guide that we have written together with social innovators from across Europe to support you, hopefully, in getting a grip on power in energy and social innovation. We hope you enjoy these videos. We will start off with a broad introduction of what power and social innovation actually means. And then for each exercise that we have in the Power Guides, Flor Avelino, my colleague, gives a short introduction on the theory and the frameworks behind the exercise. And then I will shortly comment on one way of actually putting these theories and frameworks into practice through an exercise that we propose you can do by yourself, with your team, with your peers in energy. So we hope you enjoy these videos, and goodbye.
Introducing power dynamics in social innovation. So a very important starting point for studying power dynamics in social innovation is to think about the societal challenges that we see nowadays, that we're confronted with at a global level and at a local level, that these are economic, social, and economic challenges that are persistent and intimately intertwined. And this also means that to tackle these interconnected societal challenges in energy and other related fields, technological innovation is necessary, but it's not sufficient. We also need transformative social innovation, or in other words, innovations that can contribute towards transitions towards more just and sustainable energy systems. So what do we mean by transformative social innovation? To start with this concept of social innovation, we define that as sets of ideas, objects, and activities that involve a change in social relations, including new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, and new ways of organizing. So if we would take the example of a social innovation in energy, like community energy, so this phenomenon that people are producing their own energy, obviously this is also technologically innovative. There's windmills, there's solar panels that are necessary to produce energy at a decentral level. But we argue it's also socially innovative in the sense that it comes with new relations between consumers and producers, new relations between governments and citizens, and between neighbors. What we are interested in understanding is specifically in understanding how social innovation manifests in the energy sector. So this is what we really focus on in the SONNET project on social innovation in energy transitions. And here we look at a diversity of social innovation. So community energy is not the only kind of social innovation in energy. So in the SONNET project, there's a whole typology of social innovations in energy, which you can find on the website of the SONNET project by colleagues like Julia Wittmeier and others. And in the SONNET project, we specifically look at 6 types of social innovation. Not only cooperatives and community energy, but also gamification and city-level competitions. We look at innovative forms of financing, at participatory incubation and experimentation, at local electricity exchange experiments, and also very important framings against fossil fuel energy. So also certain social movements that are, for instance, protesting against existing energy pathways, but also proposing alternative framings. Now, what we are interested in understanding is what is the transformative power of these kind of social innovations. And we argue that social innovations have transformative power to the extent that they challenge, alter, and replace the existing dominant power relations and structures in the social context. So if we go back to this example of community energy, it's technologically innovative, it's socially innovative, but it's only transformative to the extent that it challenges, alters, and replaces the wider energy system, which is centralized, fossil fuel-based, and utterly polluting. And also underlying this, the more fundamental economic system underlying it, which is based on hyperconsumption and unbridled capitalism and extractivism. So looking at social innovation from this transformative perspective also means that we acknowledge the problematic power relations that exist in the energy system today. So these are relations of inequality, oppression, exclusion, exploitation, extraction, and injustice. And when we study social innovation or when we work with social innovation, this comes with a responsibility to ask how and to what extent are these social innovations in energy challenging power relations, but also how might they be reproducing them? So the big question is, how does power manifest in social innovation in energy? This question is easier asked than answered, because power is one of the most contested concepts in social and political theory, where you have big debates about how power should be defined. Some people have defined power very much in terms of the self-interest, so the capacity of A to do something at the cost of B, or to make another person do something against his interest. But others, like sociologist Parsons, have defined it very much in terms of the capacity of system to reach collective goals. And another very famous debate in social sciences more generally, the structure agency debate, is also very intertwined with the power discussion. So this question of whether power lies mostly with us as agents, as actors, as individuals, or whether it's more something that is embedded in structures and institutions and discourses. So one of the things that we have done in previous work is to identify the major debates about power that exist in social and political theory. So the question about, is it power over or power to? Is power centralized or diffused? Is it consensual versus conflictual? And so on. And the argument that we make is that we should not choose sides between these different perspectives on power, but rather take a so-called dialectic perspective, where we really highlight these different dimensions of power and learn from all of them to think about social innovation in energy transitions. So in this particular academic article about theories of power and power contestations, we have identified what different power theorists have said about these different contestations about power. And then we have translated this into thinking about what kind of questions should you be asking about social innovation and transition processes in terms of power.
So that was the first introduction to power theory and social innovation. But don't fret, we will take you through it step by step and unpack it with you together so that you can link these frameworks and these grand theories to actual exercises that you can do at home or at work. So watch the next video to start learning about how to gain a sense of power in your work on social innovation in energy.